Hmm.
Welcome to episode 4 of the HODL Life podcast. I'm really excited about this one. It's going to be a little bit different. I won't have my usual co-host Sandra with me, but instead I'm going to have one of the most passionate Bitcoiners I know, my brother-in-law, Miko and Ancheta. How you doing today, brother?
Very well, my man. 4 episodes already. Huh?
4 episodes, man. They
That's
say 80% of podcasts fail after 4 episodes, so I was really looking forward to cracking this barrier.
there you go. And so I'm happy to be your guest for that.
Awesome. So,
Um,
man,
yeah, you know what? I forgot what I was gonna say. But anyways, yeah, go ahead.
awesome. So, how's your holidays, man?
It's good, busy but good. We pretty happy up here. When we moved up here, we were a little nervous about the weather. We like the sun. We used to live in the Okanagan, and we were in Mexico for a year, and I'm
Yeah.
Filipino, so I like the sun. But yeah, you know what? Things have been awesome here. It's been awesome to be close to the family. I
Yeah.
got a good job, and then there's big enough jujitsu here that I can open up a school. But it's not big enough that there is a school. There's no
Yep.
school, so that's what I'm kind of working on, working towards. Uh,
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to ask you some more questions about that later. But um, like I was saying before we recorded, uh, we've been in each other's life for quite a while,
oh
and
yeah.
we only see each other maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 times max per year.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime we get on a good path for a conversation, we always get interrupted by a family member, and I can never go as deep as I want to go.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
I,
right.
I was excited to have you on today, just so we can, just shoot the shit and kind of, talk uninterrupted.
That's right.
Um,
Hey, but you know what, man? That's the cool thing about men is we don't have to say a lot to kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
it is, yeah,
like that's even if there's like you said, we only meet like 3 or 4 times a year. That those few times, and then the short amount of time that we are together. Like the words that we say to each other are,
meaningful.
yeah, meaningful and
Yeah.
enough. Like I don't know. I just men don't need to say a lot.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
So, so on top of that, I don't know a lot about your background.
Hmm.
So I was just wondering, just tell me a bit about yourself. You know, uh,
Yeah,
where you came from. What are you into,
for sure. Yeah,
and
yeah.
where you're
Yeah.
at right now.
Well, born and raised in Manila, Philippines, Filipino. Um, my mom is half Spanish, so we've got some Spanish blood. My real name is Jaime Francisco.
Oh,
Jaime
cool.
Francisco Alieje Ancheta. So it's a
Oh,
very
wow.
long name, very long Spanish name. And it's because of that Spanish background. So yeah, my family and I, we moved here 2008. Moved to Canada 2000. Move. Sorry, no, we applied to Canada 2004, and then we finally got here 2008. So it was a painful 4 years of waiting. Um, and then I just worked random jobs my first few years here, and then
Mhm.
2010 I got into nursing. I mean, I was already in nursing school in the Philippines because I knew that was in demand in Canada, but I
Yep.
wasn't able to finish it because we had to leave. So I just kind of continued that here, and then when I became a nurse, I was doing my own stuff, and then I met Sandra about a year or two into nursing,
Mhm.
and then yeah, she's also a nurse. Um, yeah, and then we moved away to find jobs, and we moved to the Kootenays. We were there for a little bit, then found our way to the Okanagan. Yeah, and then I kind of just built my life with my wife there, or with Sandra there. Now we've got 2 kids. Yeah, we're up here in northern BC. Yeah, that's a quick version of my life, my Canadian
Awesome.
life.
And also, you're really into jujitsu, and this is something I've
Yeah,
really respected about you. Um, that's something I've always, just like podcasting, it's something I've always just thought about doing. Jujitsu is one of those things that's always just been in the back of my head too. So,
that's
like,
right.
how long have you been in jujitsu? Like, what's your
So
history?
when I came to Canada around 2008 to about 20 till I finished nursing school. So I finished nursing school 2011. I was
Yeah.
kind of like in a lost phase in my life. Like I didn't know what to do. I was in my mid 20s. I'm in a new country, this and that. So anyway, I wanted to deal with school first. So as soon as that was done, I told myself I was going to do CrossFit.
Hmm.
Like I remember, come coming 2012, I was like, you know what, I need to do something, and I think I posted something on Facebook
Yep.
that I was gonna do CrossFit, this and that, blah blah. And then a friend of mine who is a black belt under Half Gracie, who lives in San Francisco, he sent me a message. This was 11 years ago, 11, 12 years ago. He's like, dude, just try jujitsu.
Hmm.
Try it for a week. I'm sure there's a free week class that you can find. Try that. If you don't like it, then go do your CrossFit. And then yeah, that's it. I tried it, never stopped. I fell in love with it right away. I think I fell in love with it because of how scary it was.
Yes.
It reminded me, because I've got two older brothers, and we would always fight when I was young, and I was always scared of fighting them, but we would always fight. When you're fighting with when I fought with my brothers when I was young, there was something natural about the fights that felt good.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was crying, I was mad, like this and that. But there was something primal inside me that was like, oh man, that was enjoyable to fight. And that 1% of enjoyment in fighting came out in jujitsu, where I was just,
Cool.
I'm going out, I'm trying to we're trying to rip each other's head off in training, but I love these guys, you know?
Hmm.
And that's what I fell in love with. Another thing I fell in love with was my coach, who's the scariest looking dude. Philippe. He was actually in my wedding. I don't know if you remember him. He's that Brazilian with gnarly ears.
Yes, I remember him.
Yeah, Philippe. He was a scary looking guy. I was super intimidated by him. But the first time I met him, he's like, "Hey, brother, welcome. Come here." Gave me a hug. Like, he treated me like family immediately. So I was like, you know what? I want to kind of be like this guy. I want to be intimidating to people,
Yep.
but deep inside, I'm a really nice guy. So that's what I strive to be. But anyway, yeah. So that's one of the reasons. That's probably the main reason why I stuck with jujitsu. But I think another thing about jujitsu too is the never-ending learning.
Yes.
I've been doing it for 11, 12 years now, and I still feel like a beginner. Like there's still so much to learn, and yeah, that's what I love about it. It humbles me. Like
That's good, man.
there's sometimes you feel like you're the shit in jujitsu, but most of the time, man, you're the nail. Like you have to enjoy that. Just like Bitcoin, man. Just like Bitcoin. There's 90% of Bitcoin is pain and waiting, but then you
Yes.
get these spikes of happiness. So that's yeah, just like jujitsu.
And I'll tell you, I've been wrong a hell of a lot more about Bitcoin than I have been right.
That's right.
Very
Yeah,
humbling. So, well, let's transition to that because this is a Bitcoin show after all, right?
that's right.
Um, I want to learn about like before you aped into Bitcoin, before you developed your conviction. Like, did you hear about Bitcoin at all growing up, or like, and when was the moment that you actually bought some and then developed your conviction?
I've
Because
heard about.
because sorry, but you were one of the most uh, passionate Bitcoiners I know, and I find it very inspiring. So,
Thanks, man. You know what? It's because of it was due to circumstances why I'm a hardcore Bitcoiner now. But
hmm.
anyway, yeah. So I heard about Bitcoin back in 20 when Sandra and I started dating. Actually, um, I had a friend. His name's Toby.
Yep.
Anyway, he's a friend from jujitsu. He's not really a friend, but we're acquaintances, and we're kind of forced to hang out with each other because of the jujitsu circle. But I didn't really like the guy very much. Know? Sandra and Amanda would remember him.
Yep.
But anyway, he told me like, dude, you need to buy precious metals like gold, silver, and Bitcoin. And he kept talking about this Bitcoin, and I just kept brushing it off. I'm like, whatever. Like literally, whatever. I did not care about it. Was not interested. I hate myself now for not listening to him.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Trust me.
Yeah, this was around 20 because Sandra and I met in 2013.
Yep.
And I still lived in Vancouver when we were hanging out with Toby. So yeah, that was around 2013. That's the first time I heard about it, and then yeah, totally forgot about it. And then I think 2020 around the all-time high. Was it 2020?
It was 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, right, end of 2020. Anyway, so yeah, my wife and Sandra and I, we had a chunk of money that we wanted to invest somewhere. And then I think it was you who told us about bitcoins. But I didn't really study it. I was just like, I have a chunk of money, I want to invest in something, and I don't want to work for it. That's
Bitcoin's trendy.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a very shallow reason why I got
Yeah.
into Bitcoin. So got into Bitcoin, and then things just started crashing. And then when it started crashing, I just thought to myself, I because I read a little bit about it, and
Hmm.
I read the basics of economics, like buy low, sell high, and so if it kept going down, I just applied that to what was happening. I was like, oh, it keeps going down, I should buy a little bit, not realizing that I was DCAing.
Yes,
I
yes.
didn't know what DCA was. I was just like, if that's economics 101, is to buy low and sell high. If it's gonna keep going down, then I'm gonna keep buying. It just that was the equation for me. It I like to simplify things. I don't like to overcomplicate things. So I just followed that. Buy low, sell high. Um and then the pandemic happened, this and that. Um with I'm sure Sandra's mentioned it before. When she donated to the truckers, we kind of went all in because we were like, oh man, like there's a possibility that our money can be frozen.
What a wild time that was, eh?
Oh, dude, what a fucking wow! And on top of that, man, Sandra just got fired, and
Correct.
because I was casual, so nobody approached me.
Yeah.
I was gonna be fired, but I knew I was already fired. But Sandra had a position and like an actual line. So when she was fired, and then we found out that the banks knew that we donated to these truckers, that there was a threat of our bank accounts being frozen. We were like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yep.
So that's when we went all in into Bitcoin. We were like, I mean, looking back now, I wish I just dumped all my money in there. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
mean,
it's wild
not
because
saying,
like
yeah, exactly, because I did, like, I bought it 15. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm happy and whatever. But you know what I mean? It was an experience. Yeah,
yeah,
we
they
did a lot
always
of
say, we always get Bitcoin at the price we deserve, and
That's right.
as far as I'm concerned, we're still very, very early. I mean, we
That's
front
right.
ran the banks and the institutions,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes when I feel like my stack is not high enough, I just kind of look, like zoom out, and man, I literally don't know anyone who has bit, like who's into this, which is a shame, but at the same time, it kind of makes you feel good.
Yeah, and that's kind of another reason why I started this podcast because um, I went to my first Bitcoin meetup a little while ago
Vancouver,
in Vancouver. Yeah,
nice.
I didn't know what to expect, and I had the same thing. Like, I don't know any Bitcoiners. Like, how can I be the only one? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so when I went there, I started asking people, same questions I'm asking you, like, how did you find Bitcoin? And man, the conversations were amazing. And after that, I realized I got to connect with more Bitcoiners. So um,
Mm-hmm.
it's just so fun. It's
No,
so
no, I
fun
mean,
to
I hear
connect.
you. You know what? Sandra and I talk about this all the time. Like, it's kind of cool if you think about it, that we're gonna do this for the rest of our lives. Like,
Yes.
we're gonna be dealing with Bitcoin for the rest of our lives. So even if you were losing now, even if you're taking L's now on Bitcoin, man, just zoom out. You will win in the long run. You know what I mean? Like, if you're making mistakes, like let's say you're making trading mistakes this stage of your Bitcoin
We've all
journey,
been there.
man, it does not matter in the long run. Like we're still so fucking early.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So anyway, I was gonna say too. I think it's great that you're doing this podcast, man. I think if you don't go into some sort of Bitcoin business right now, you're gonna get left behind. That's why I'm building a gym, and it has nothing to do with Bitcoin, but I'm gonna try my best to kind of bridge those two together, because I'm not a very technical guy. I have no technical. I have no Bitcoin background, or no, you know, computer background at all.
Yeah.
Zero. In fact, I'm kind of an illiterate when it comes to technology. But I just that's the only fact that I know. Like I said, I like to simplify things. I just know I need to have a business that's Bitcoin related. So the few talents that I know, I'm gonna try and bridge that with Bitcoin.
That is so cool. Do you want to talk a little bit about the gym you're building?
Sure. Yeah. 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 It's a small gym. It's a 26 by 11 space.
Nice.
By the way, I'm a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu brown belt. I've been training for 11, going to my 12 years now. Um, it's the number one. It's my passion. I cannot like I'll talk about jujitsu forever. Like I can, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm building a gym there. I'm planning to do private lessons to teach jujitsu. I think just like Bitcoin, I think everyone should be learning jujitsu. It's good for the planet. It's good for people. It's good for your inner peace. Um, yeah, so that's what I'm building. And hopefully I'll be able to do something um, Bitcoin related. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of uh, I don't know, maybe doing some online content about Bitcoin and jujitsu, like how I can bridge them together.
Well, the
This,
concept of Bitcoin and jujitsu,
oh, dude, they're so
so
simple.
they go hand in hand. And
Oh my
on
man.
the last podcast, Sandra and I had a good laugh. She forgot the name of your gym. She was thinking in her head it
Oh,
was
yeah,
called FUD,
yeah. That
which
should
is the
go.
worst name for a gym. But I
Then
mean,
it's proof of work.
proof of work, that is
Proof of
beautiful.
because that, and there's a reason why I chose proof of work because jujitsu is, and I'm not talking about all martial arts, but majority of like traditional martial arts, like let's say taekwondo, karate, um, this, like you know what I'm talking about, right? Like
Yeah.
these traditional martial arts, you can get your black belt when you're like 10 years old. When you're like 9, you can be you get certificates, this and that. It's kind of like shit coining, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of,
Yes.
it's a martial arts. Let's not forget it's fighting, and then you're gonna award these kids these yeah, you're awarding them the highest accolade that they can get, which is, I think, is wrong. In jiu-jitsu you cannot do that. There's
Hmm.
absolutely, you will not meet a child or an unskilled black belt in
Correct.
actual fighting, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because you need the proof. You have to actually go to gyms, fight people, prove how good you are, prove your skill level, and then someone will award you your black belt. Do you know what I mean? So that to me is real martial arts.
Awesome.
That's kind of like Bitcoin, that there's proof, right? Proof of work, right? The
Yeah, and
miners.
especially in the fake world we live in today. I mean,
Exactly, man. Yeah,
we want absolute truth, and
that's right.
Bitcoin is truth. Putting in the work for jujitsu is truth.
Exactly, man. Yeah, um I was talking to someone on Twitter the other day. But yeah, that's what I said. Like Bitcoin usually drives people into conservatism, and the reason
Yes.
why that is because you're driven to the truth.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I find too, like I did a solo podcast a few days ago,
nice.
just for practice. I didn't end up releasing it, but I kind of just
Is
went through
this
my own.
sorry to cut you off? This is on Spotify.
No, I'm using the Riverside program.
That's right. I know,
Yeah.
but I mean, where can I hear the recording?
Oh, I'll upload to Spotify and iTunes.
Sick. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Sorry to cut you off there.
oh crap, my brain. Let's go. Anyways, I was doing a solo podcast a few days ago, just kind of practicing. I was working with my new microphone. I just want to make sure everything sounded good. But
Nice.
I kind of went through like the history of the last few years of my life,
Mm-hmm.
and sticking on that point about truth. Like um, I can't be bothered with bullshit anymore.
That's right.
And,
Yeah,
and that's something, being a Bitcoiner for so long.
that's right.
That old cringy saying, you don't change Bitcoin, Bitcoin changes you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's totally true in my life, and I could definitely see it in your life and my sister's life. I mean, like I cut off the whole idea to God a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
and now as I'm trying to find more truth in my life, I'm opening that
That
door
drives you
again.
back to him, right?
Yeah.
Drives you back to him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry if yeah. Go ahead.
No, that was the end of my thought,
Yeah,
but that's
no,
kind
but
of just yeah.
that's totally because I grew up Catholic. You know, I went to Catholic school, like all boys Catholic school. It's one of the most like Jesuits ran it, this and that. But I never really. I was always my usual self that I kind of wanted to go against the grain, and
Hmm.
I wanted to do the opposite of what everyone else was doing. So I was always, I was always debating Jesuits when I was young. Um, but I took the Bible literally, but you don't take it like now you kind of understand really. It's more of like a guideline really, and it's up to you. You don't have to follow it, and you can kind of interpret the Bible or God the way you see it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Nobody should be able to tell you like, oh, this is how you're supposed to see it, or like it's your like again like Bitcoin, man. It's a journey that you just kind of have to take yourself.
And it's a journey that takes a lot of conviction. I mean, it's not for the faint of heart.
That's right.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah. Can't be a pussy.
no, you can't be a pussy. And I used to say to people, just buy Bitcoin, right? Like that was
Mhm.
my solution to every problem. But now I've kind of changed my tune to more study Bitcoin,
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
because when you study Bitcoin, it opens other avenues and doors in your brain to other different rabbit holes you can go down,
Hmm.
and ways to improve yourself.
That's right. That's right. You know what a revelation that came to me like a couple days ago. You know when the saying uh stay humble and stack sats.
Yes,
I think that's why it's super hard to orange pill people is because that humility part, that humble part.
it is
Because
hard.
to be able to accept Bitcoin, you're gonna have to accept that you've been lied to for your whole life, and that's a fucking tough pill to swallow.
Yes, it is.
That's what I we were having dinner the other day. Well, I think it was last night, and that's what I told everyone. Like everything is fake. Like if you feel like literally every single thing that we're surrounded is fake, and there's very few truths out there, and you have to find it. And Bitcoin is one of them. You know.
Yeah, Bitcoin is absolute mathematical truth. There is no bullshitting it.
That's why
Open ledger.
like the ETF thing right now, like everyone's raving about. I'm not too. I don't think it's gonna affect too much. But what
Well,
I do know what will affect the price of Bitcoin is the halving because it's math.
it's the
It's
fundamentals that will affect the price of
literally
Bitcoin.
economics 101.
Yeah.
Right? If the demand is high and then we cut the supply in half, man, that's just very basic economics.
And on
So
top of that,
I'm more
energy's getting
bullish.
more expensive.
Yeah,
So,
that's right. But anyway, sorry, I don't know what I.
well, yeah, I actually I kind of want to bounce an idea about the ETF coming up, because I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, I
We've had
feel
the ETFs here, and there's no buzz here. We've had ETFs for years, even
yeah,
here.
in Canada we have an ETF, but a lot of an argument that people in the United States are doing right now
Mhm.
is like the US market for ETF is 37 times
That's right.
bigger than that of Canada.
Hmm.
But still, I've been very skeptical. I haven't been as excited about this thing getting approved as most Bitcoiners, because of one man named Gary Gensler. Okay.
Yeah.
And we have to remember, Gary Gensler was working with Sam Bankman Fried. They were talking behind closed door meetings all the time, right?
Hmm.
And Sam Bankman Fried's purpose at the end there was to suppress the price of Bitcoin, right?
Hmm.
To keep it under $20,000. He failed miserably, because the truth always reveals itself. But now the things coming out about these ETFs are very concerning to me, because as far as I know, when you have an ETF, you're able to redeem your investment for physical goods, right? These ETFs are all cash creates, so you can only redeem in cash, right?
That's
And I'm just worried there's going to be a lot more paper Bitcoin out there than there was when we had the FTX scam. That's
that's
just kind of my thought.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And this my thought is kind of branches out from what you just said. You know, yeah, there is the percentage of investors if the ETF opens up in the states is it's definitely a big percentage. But I, I don't know, man. If I was an investor, um, And if I actually studied Bitcoin, like why would I want paper Bitcoin when I can buy the actual thing? You know what I mean? Like I don't buy where people are like, oh no, people are scared of self custody. They're lazy.
Mhm.
They're gonna want the ETF instead. So the bank will hold it for them. I just don't buy that.
Yeah,
First of
I
all, you
mean,
won't get into Bitcoin if you don't believe in the self custody aspect of it. You will not be a maxi. You will not. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
don't.
I mean, I hope that, I mean, it'll probably just be a small percentage, but I hope as people, because there will be people that buy the ETF, right?
That's right. Well, I mean, we did.
Yeah, and funny story. So back in 2017, um, I didn't know anything about Bitcoin. I just knew that the price could go up, right? That's all I cared about. I was a shitty investor back then, and I was looking. So I got this Q Trade Investor app that my financial advisor gave me, and I just wanted to buy some Bitcoin. So I went into there and I just typed in Bitcoin. I typed in BTC, and I couldn't find anything because I thought Bitcoin was a stock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of my search thing. I mean, after I couldn't find it there, I was like, oh, Bitcoin's not for me, and I moved on. So I think, you know, and then I eventually developed my conviction down the road. But I
That's
think
right.
there'll be a lot of people like that hopefully, it's as easy as
Could
clicking a
be a
button on,
gateway. Yeah, that's right. No, I
and
see
then
what
they
you're
can
saying.
develop their conviction later. But I mean, it goes back to what we were saying about, searching for absolute truth. Why would we trust these banks and institutions with our Bitcoin when they've been fined billions of dollars over the past, couple decades for fraudulent behavior? It's
Yeah,
absolutely wild.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, why would you? Actually, my brother-in-law, when I told him about like the like features of Bitcoin, and I told him it's can't confiscate it. He kind of seemed interested, and I was like, oh yeah, you can
Yeah,
you
I mean that's the gift of Bitcoin, man. Absolute self sovereignty, right?
exactly, yeah, that's right. And again, sorry, another thing about the ETFs was, like when I got into Bitcoin, the 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 tone of the Bitcoin Twitter was like, oh, this is freedom money, this is blah blah blah. But now everyone's kind of rooting for BlackRock, which is, like, I don't know, it just seems like hypocritical to me. Like, aren't these guys our enemy? Like, right? And now
Definitely.
we're rooting for them. I don't know. It's just we're in a weird situation right now.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with just the day and age. Like we all want fast results, right? We want money go up now. We want developments now, right?
mm,
And I think this whole ETF thing is putting a lot of Bitcoiners' conviction and time preference into question.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
And like personally, I don't think we need the ETF. Bitcoin's going to be great without it.
Yeah, me
I,
too.
I am very interested to see the price action on January 10th once this thing gets approved, because I really don't know what to expect, to be
hmm
honest.
I mean, of course, I'm hoping for it to go up. I mean, that's why we all got into Bitcoin. There's that factor that um, we
Freedom.
want freedom money, right?
Yeah.
But also, more to me at least, speaking for myself, more than anything, I want the freedom.
Hmm.
It's the freedom part first that I want.
Yeah, and then also when you see how much money, here, I took some notes here. So when you see how much money our governments have been sending, funding wars, just printing it out of thin air,
Yeah,
it's like why would you want to save in something like that?
yeah.
I'm just going to give you some
Like
numbers here.
I can. Sorry, go
Uh,
ahead. Sorry, I cut you off again.
yeah, so Canada since 2022 donated 9.5 billion dollars. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the U.S. just approved 113 billion and has already spent 44 billion that we know of. In
Mm-hmm.
the EU, they've already spent 91 billion plus 19.3 billion extra. So
Yeah.
a grand total, not including other countries and stuff, that's $276.8 billion that we know of just printed money that
Mm-hmm.
taxpayers like us are going to have to pay for, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So why would you want
That.
to
Yeah.
save in the money that fuels war and,
Exactly.
and death and destruction?
That's right.
Bitcoin is peace, man.
That's why, dude. honestly, man, I could work more, but I don't want to. I
Hmm.
refuse. I refuse to give my time to an end because I'm a government employee, right? And I
Yep.
hate that about myself. I hate that. I hate the government, but I'm a government employee, so I refuse to put 80 hours or 40 hours a week for them. I just
Hmm.
refuse that because 20 hours of that is going to them anyway. It's not
Exactly.
going to my family, so fuck you. I'll work less and I'll try to do something that I can make money on my own. Yeah, yeah. So fuck the government, man. I'm playing their game now. Like, oh, because I've got lots of credit. Fuck them. I'm never paying that shit, man. I'll go on debt just like the government. I'll never pay
Exactly.
that shit. I mean, I'll pay the minimum just so. But yeah, I'm gonna start playing the game that they are playing. Like I'm not saving. I'm saving in Bitcoin. You know.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my
Well,
cash is coming out.
well, that's what happens, man. I mean, Bitcoin changes us. It opens our eyes, and that's why I was so excited to talk to you today. So,
Yeah, it's funny too, man. Like we named my Noah, my second son. His middle name is Francisco after me. My name is Francisco. So
yeah.
of all of all my mom's kids, I was the one who was named Francisco, which means free man. And I'm
Awesome.
all about freedom, man. I'm all about like when COVID happened, like it just fucking opened my eyes. Like yeah. So I love Bitcoin and I love freedom.
Awesome.
I don't know why I brought that up. I just
Oh, that's a cool story, man. I didn't know that. I didn't know that that's what that name
Yeah,
meant.
and
That's
then yeah,
cool.
like so we named Noah that because we're in this kind of like our freedoms are being taken away from us. We're in this time right now, so that's why we named Ethan that. Or sorry, Noah. His second name
Awesome.
is Francisco. Yeah.
Cool. Before we wrap up here, I just want to kind of get your thoughts. I mean, what are you looking forward to in the next year or two with Bitcoin
Man, with Bitcoin,
or in your life in general?
with life, man, I'm just kind of just really with now we've got two kids. I'm kind of learning how to just be um kind of just be present.
Yep.
I've always used to be like, all right, what's the next thing? Let's do it. I'm always so like whatever I feel, I have to do it. I'm just that type of guy. But now
Yep.
it's kind of I'm learning to just kind of pull back a little bit and enjoy life with the kids. Like I said, I'll work more. Sorry, I'll still work, but I again, I don't want to work full time anymore for if someone's stealing my money anyway, I'd rather just do my own thing. um yeah, man, I just peace. That's what I'm hoping for my future. Just peace and
Awesome.
happiness with my family. That's it.
Awesome. Well, that's great to hear, man. And I know you're a busy dude, so I won't keep it for too much longer. But
How long have we been talking now? 50?
it's been about 35 minutes.
Oh damn, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Sorry, I wasn't keeping track.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a timer. 33 minutes.
Yeah. 33 minutes. So yeah, Sandra and I usually go for about 45 or so. But
Hey man, we can go longer if you want, but if we're done, that's okay too.
well, yeah. I mean,
What are you
if you,
guys doing? Like, what are you? How was Christmas for you guys? Can we talk about that here on the
oh
podcast?
yeah, yeah. Christmas was great. I uh, I have about man 7, 8, 9. I have about 10 days off, which was nice.
Nice. Oh,
I've been I've been basically uh, working my ass off the whole year. I didn't take any time off because it's pre-halving year, right? So I'm just
okay.
working, stacking sats like I'm a fucking
Nice.
madman.
Nice.
So I didn't
Nice.
take any time off. So it was nice to take a week off at the end here and just hang out with my wife. We usually go to Manning Park and snowboard Christmas Day,
Didn't happen
but
this year?
well, there's no snow on any mountains around
Oh
here.
shit, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's kind of
Yes,
been a lame Christmas. Like it's been just raining here. Wish it was more.
yeah, it's been warm. I mean, this time last year, after a shift at work, I couldn't even feel my toes, and now I'm in a t-shirt outside, no problem. So,
That's right.
but yeah, we went around Manning Park. We hiked around a couple lakes. It was nice. But yeah, I'm just haven't spent this much time with my wife in a while, so it's been nice just to you know just hang out and
Nice.
just be around each other. But
Awesome.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to this year. I feel like I've been waiting for this year ever since I
Yeah.
became a Bitcoiner.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I find there's this vibe in the air where everyone's kind of miserable
yes.
going into 2024, but I feel kind of the opposite, which is weird. I'm usually the doom and gloomer guy. I'm usually the Grinch,
Yeah. But
but
yeah, I mean, I'm feeling very
it's the Bitcoin, man.
optimistic.
It's the Bitcoin.
It's and it's the Bitcoin because before, I mean, I'll share a little bit about my history with money is like it was the same thing. You're when you're a fiat slave, you're working
Yeah,
and chasing a carrot on a stick that you're never going to get, right?
that's right.
And I see that with people I talk to at work, or I always just approach people and just talk to them about Bitcoin, and it's the same thing. Why am I going to save to buy a house? Why am I going to save to
Exactly. Yeah.
for my future when our money's getting debased so fast? And I was in the same boat, but now that I know that I'm saving in a hard money,
Mm-hmm.
and we're about to get more exposure,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's going to be from the banks or whatnot. I'm just excited for more people to discover this technology.
That's right. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. That's why I've stopped orange pilling people. I mean, I haven't stopped shutting about Bitcoin, but I've
Yep.
stopped trying to convince people because you know what? You're gonna find this whether I tell you or not. This will be forced upon you, whether you like it or not in the
and
future.
and and it will be forced upon us.
Yeah,
It'll be a matter of life or death. It'll be a necessity. Either
exactly.
you embrace Bitcoin, or life
Adapt
is
or
going to be
die.
really, really tough for you.
Yeah, adapt or die.
Yeah.
That's it, man. So yeah, I'm like yesterday. I gave them a fact about Bitcoin, how Bitcoin becomes deflationary. Like things will become deflationary once we adopt Bitcoin. And then my sister was like, how the hell does that happen? And I explained to her, like right now, inflation is happening. Everything is becoming more expensive because our dollar is becoming worthless more
It
and
is.
more every year. It's becoming more and more worthless. But if you do the opposite, if we're still producing the same amount of stuff that we are producing today, but our money becomes stronger and stronger and stronger, the opposite will happen. Things will become cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, right? And that I think that blew their minds.
Yeah.
Almost their faces were like, "That's too good to be true." But I'm just like that. I'm telling you, this is what Bitcoin. This is what Bitcoin will do.
Yeah.
And
It's amazing. And there
is
is
it
that
hard if
that
there's no
aspect.
proof, right? It's hard to tell them these um these gigantic claims because there's no proof. But man, if you just analyze it, if you do the math, that's exactly what's gonna happen. And
Yeah,
again, math.
everything gets cheaper against Bitcoin.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I remember when I first discovered it. I thought the same thing. I'm like, there's no way this is programmed to go up forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is no way that this has to be a Ponzi scheme. And especially when you talk to people about the creator Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first heard that name, I was like, come on.
Yeah.
The creator of Bitcoin is named Satoshi Nakamoto. Like
Yeah.
obvious, like scam alert, right?
Right.
But you get it when you get it. I've been
Yeah.
hearing about Bitcoin
Exactly.
since 2013, and I didn't bite the bullet until 7 years later.
That's right.
So
Yeah, that's what it is. Like even if like there's no amount of trying to convince people to do. They will have to discover it themselves. There has to
exactly,
be there has to be something that happens to them that will just because if you trust the system right now, it's kind of hard to abandon it. You
it
know,
is.
it's
Yeah,
it's very hard to abandon it, and that's what I'm saying again. Going back to that humility aspect of things, man, you will have to have your humility level should you should be super humble if you're going to accept Bitcoin because again you're gonna have to accept that you've been lied to your whole life, right? And that
exactly.
and dude that's just I remember watching the fall of the cabal a couple of years ago, and
Yep,
that just freaking like it just turned my life around because I'm like, man, my whole life I've been lied to, and that's exactly what happened to Bitcoin too. When I discovered it, I'm like, what? Our monetary system does this? What? They're printing our money, which they say is good for the economy, but it's debasing our money. Like what? Because
it's
it's
just low
impossible
time
that the
preference.
governments. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
impossible that the governments don't know that they're debasing them. It's impossible, impossible. I think they're doing it on purpose, So yeah, that's when I went all in on Bitcoin when I discovered these things. But again, it was a hard pill to swallow. Like I couldn't sleep when I discovered these things.
Yeah, and there's not too many things like I remember when I had my aha moment. Like I aped him pretty heavy near the top,
Mm-hmm.
and most people when they see, I mean, I know a few people that aped in around the same time I did.
Mm-hmm.
When the price started crashing, they pulled out. They're like, "Fuck this."
Yep.
But as I started to learn and started to realize how wrong I was and how different the world is from what I thought it was growing up,
Mm-hmm.
um, like
You
I got
just watch
excited.
it going down,
Like as the price goes down, I'm just eating it up
dude.
like
Yeah.
butter tarts,
We were
man.
talking to each other, right? Every time it went down, remember we would send each other messages like, "Dude,
Yeah,
man,
I remember that one text you sent me. I was out for dinner with some friends, and I didn't look at the price all day. And then I look at my phone. You're like, "Fuck, bro, 54K." Yeah, but you know, I'm super excited, and I do hope because I was looking at some past charts, and usually with bull runs, we get usually like 25 to 30% pullbacks.
mm-hmm.
This price action has been so different compared to everything in the past.
Yeah,
It's
it's
almost like
just
a stable coin.
yeah, we're just keeps going up."
Yeah, and it's wild to see. So
That's right.
yeah, and I
I've
don't
gotten
know.
so used to just it going sideways that I'm just like, like this trend here is like, yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to watch, and
I'm
again
I'm
another
still
reason.
hoping for it to go down though. Like man, like I just want to buy. I just want to keep buying.
Yeah, I got some dry powder still. I bought a little bit on the last little dip there, but I'm worried if I don't buy now, it's just gonna keep. I mean, that's what happened to a lot of people in 2023. Everybody was calling for a 10K Bitcoin,
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
and it just never came.
That's right. I know. I don't know if Sandra told you, but I sold a little bit, and I regret it. I regret it. But yeah, yeah.
Hey,
We still have a good stack.
yeah, you got to do what you got to do, man.
Exactly. Family happen, like Christmas and stuff. But
Yeah.
we're still good, man. We're still
Well, I'll tell you a story. Like it was December last year, okay? And I was, I had a lot of conviction
right.
and I was buying all the way down,
Hmm.
And then we had that last little dump from FTX
Hmm.
and I was like, I don't know how much more I can take of this. Like
Hmm. It's
I was
exhausting,
feeling
right?
I was feeling pretty defeated, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
And I actually moved a big chunk of my Bitcoin from my cold wallet
Uh-huh.
to the exchange and I was ready to hit the sell button to buy again lower. And I realized, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm
Zoom.
going against everything I believe in. And then I
That's
just put it back in cold storage. And thank God I didn't sell because now, we're up 140% since that day.
that's right. Yeah.
Um, so, just stay strong. Don't sell your Bitcoin. It's the most
That's right.
precious thing in the world.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. But you know what? I'm glad I did that mistake because dude, the pain was insane. Like it was the most pain I've felt since jumping into this Bitcoin
Yeah,
journey, and it was the most pain I've ever felt. And like I said, it wasn't a lot, but I'm just like, oh, I shouldn't have
it's
done
still.
that. And I actually rebought it again. Invested in it again because I felt so bad.
Well,
But like with the two kids and Christmas and whatever, the FUD kind of got to me a little bit.
yeah,
But good. And then, like I said, man, this thing is still so early. So if people make mistakes here and there, it's fine as long as you have Bitcoin.
yeah. As long as you keep growing your bag,
Exactly.
and
As long as that's your mentality, keep uh, being humble and stacking sats. That's it.
that's gonna be the name of this episode.
There you go. That's right.
Be humble, stack sats.
That's right. Holy shit. Because yeah, it'll slap you in the face. But
Yeah,
that's the cool thing about Bitcoin, right? Like if you're gonna get into this thing, you have to be able to take these hits. Otherwise, man, you're just gonna sell right away.
yeah.
You have to be able to take these hits. You have to learn how to manage pain because there will be pain,
Of
right?
course, yeah.
And plus, you want the pain, right? You don't want to go through a journey without pain. Like that's a boring journey. Like you want hardships. So
Yeah,
allow yourself to make mistakes. Hopefully not too big of a mistake, but allow yourself to make mistakes so you can learn from it and then keep growing. And
Exactly.
you stacks, be humble, stack sats.
Be humble, stack steps, buy the dip,
Bada bing, bada boom.
yada yada yada.
Dude, 45 minutes. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Man,
I'm pretty
I'm
pretty
sure
happy with that.
this is because of me. I sometimes when I just go, I just don't shut up. So I apologize to.
Well, no, that's why I was excited to having you on because I've been wanting just to talk to you about Bitcoin for for like an hour uninterrupted for a very long time. So,
Why
and
don't
I
we?
hope that you come on again in the future. Maybe
Yeah, man, this is
be,
fun.
become a co-host or once a month or whatever whenever you
Oh
got
yeah,
time. And
yeah. Maybe when I finish building my gym, you should record a video podcast and so you can see my gym because
yeah, and that's
put a
something
pic-
I'm going to do in the future. I am going to get this, get the video production side down pat. And this is actually the first podcast I'm actually going to start promoting really hard. So
nice. Hey,
uh,
dude. Yeah, like I'll check it out on Spotify. Yeah,
yeah, it's cool. But I'll
awesome.
let you go. But I really appreciate your time. I love you.
Love
And
you, brother. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Like this is freaking awesome. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're doing this. Like I said, I think everyone should be thinking of a Bitcoin, some sort of business or some
or
sort of venture
project something,
or a project. Yeah, some sort of whatever. But you have to be in Bitcoin. You have
Yeah,
to be. Yeah,
make the world a better place. Get
that's right.
involved in Bitcoin any way you can. So
That's right. My last words would be stay humble, buy sats, and train jujitsu. Bada bing, bada boom.
awesome. Well, thanks, brother.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye.